first step, oh, that's okay, is the first step of instilling belief in them and getting them thinking that, oh, maybe I could do this. And maybe that's all the initial invite is. But as you continue to show up and are consistent and are talking and sharing about the opportunity, some of those that may not say yes right away will come around. Recruiting is way more about mindset. I bet a lot of you, like you could say, I could sell a pair of light and tights any day because you believe in the product, right? You believe and you know how incredible they are. So maybe what if you decided that you are an incredible recruiter? You're really good at sharing this opportunity and overcoming objections. Just even that simple mindset shift thought, it could change the way that you approach those conversations. So if you don't believe in it yourself, right? If you don't believe in yourself as a leader, you are not going to have the ability to recruit. You are not going to have the ability to share, but also recognizing that that ability grows with showing up even when you're not feeling it. I shared this with my team recently. I was going through my archives because I realized Instagram was sharing all of my stories. I was like laughing at myself because my first stories of my outfit of the day were like 16 freaking stories long. Like I was like, ew, like what the crap? But it's because I was willing to show up messy that I grew and I learned. And it goes for the same with recruiting. It feels uncomfortable at first. I felt completely uncomfortable at first. I word vomited way too much at first. But because I was willing to do it messy and I was willing to share because I believed in this company. I knew what it could do for my family. I knew what it could do for others. I knew the only way to truly grow your team is to have those one-on-one conversations. You cannot grow a social selling business by posting and praying. It is like, I will tell you, 20% of your energy should be on the front page and 80% should be on the back end. Like with the messages in the DMs, the connections in your parties, all that kind of stuff. Because we've learned all that, right? We always say put a party on it, and there is so much truth to that. But are you taking advantage of those parties? Are you taking the time to connect with those people in those parties and grow that connection from the get-go? Okay, so I'm going to talk about just like a couple of things really fast. I took some notes. I talked about recruiting is way more of a mindset thing, doing the thing, even when you feel scared and like you want to crap your pants. What I will say, you guys, is people appreciate messiness, like his hair. They appreciate real humanness. And so I remember in the beginning, even like with recruiting or with sharing to my stories, like I would like erase, delete, repost. Don't do it. Just put it out there. Being imperfect is way more relatable, and being able to like laugh at yourself and laugh at the things you say or whatever, like it connects you to people and makes you a real human. So I'm going to talk really quickly about where and how to connect. And then at the end, we will go over some objections. And if you guys want to start thinking about some of the most common objections that you run into, please share them, because then we can talk about those specifically. I did get some feedback from some people that I can talk to those objections if none of you want to talk to me, but please talk to me. Anyway, so where do we find connections? How do we decide who to connect with? Okay. One simple way that we've shared with before is the 10 by 10 by 10. If you guys haven't heard what that is, it's like you search a relatable hashtag. You go find a person, and I will focus on the people in the comments. Okay. And I typically try to, because you can tell who shares stories, right? I will typically focus on those people, and then I will do a 3, 2, 1, meaning, so I'll do that to 10 different people every day. Okay. Then my 3, 2, 1 is I like 3 pictures, not the first 3 throughout. I comment on 2, like give a meaningful comment on 2. And then I do at least 1 story reply where I'm connecting in their stories. So I do that to 10. I follow 10 new people, 10 hashtags. And then the last, the last 10 is going back and replying to those people that commented or engaged in your conversations and adding them to a tracker that you are going to continue to connect with. So you know who to zone in. Like they're not just replying with a heart to your stories, but they're like engaging in conversation. Those are the people that you want to focus on. And then people that recently followed you, people that hosted parties, the guest in the parties, obviously, people that are liking and commenting on your pages. I think a huge disadvantage we do to ourselves is believe that our warm market is dead long before it is. And so these are ways that you can start tracking and seeing who's paying attention, okay, by who's liking and commenting on your pages. And then if you are not doing stories yet, you guys, if you are not talking on your stories yet, you need to start, because this business truly is about getting social. Okay. And how do you get social? You connect with people. And that is how people are going to connect with you, and not believe that you're just like this gross spammy person that just like only posts about Zaya and post models and all the things. But the magic about stories, because stories were not around in my first direct sales business. And I'll tell you guys, I was in that business for 2.5 years and I worked my ass off. Like I have good work ethic. Like I have no problem working, but it did not even come close to getting me home with my kids, which was my initial reason why I got into it. Okay. After a year of Zaya, my full-time nursing income was replaced. Like the opportunity we have here is legit. So show up, do the hard things, and get uncomfortable, and things will grow in your business and in you personally. But the stories are a magical tool, because you can see those people that are watching that don't want to be seen that are watching you. I watched my first lady from my previous direct sales company for like, I don't know, a year. And I didn't like or comment on a single one of her posts because I did not want her to know that I was paying attention. And so that is the value of stories. And that's something that I will track. I will once a day, every other day, go through and who's watching my stories. Say I'm in the middle of like carpool pickup or whatever, I'll screenshot them real fast. And then later that night, I'll go in and connect with those people, or just click on the bubbles and go connect with their stories. Like use that as like a really simple way to connect with people that are already in your warm market that you can already add value to and serve. Because there are so many people that still, it's like, I know you want to, but you're one of those that takes more time, and that's okay. Okay. And then how? So once you've connected with people, one thing I will say, don't overthink it. I think the thing is, like, if you are not overthinking it, and if you are just sending the message, like, number one, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Okay. Again, this is about planting seeds. This is about starting those conversations. This is about discovering what their objections are, not about getting a yes right now. So I think we have this huge stress and like panic in our heart because we feel like we have to say the perfect words for them to realize why they need to be a rep and say yes right now. That's not the case. Okay. It's not going to work that way. So keep it simple. Keep it simple. I mean, whatever it is, be like, I noticed like, I mean, if you're like struggling to find people to ask, maybe they liked one of your opportunity posts. Like just say, hey, thanks for loving my post. Like, were you just being supportive or would you like more information? You know, just like keeping it simple like that. Okay. And then maybe they say, no, I was just being supportive. And then that's when you get curious. In the beginning, I was way more about like, oh, they said no. Okay, bye. Like, I'm not going to say anything else. But this is the thing, you guys, like, you're afraid of them like being bothered. You're afraid of them. Ella, sorry, hold on. Let me just grab my old. Sorry, my husband's a firefighter and it's been a new adjustment to team calls when I just can't make him be home on Tuesday nights every time. But if you don't get curious, if you don't send that initial message, if you don't simply just invite them, you're already getting no for an answer. So if you're afraid of the no, like, then you're just choosing the no by not inviting or asking. So the worst thing that can happen, right, is that they say no. But if you don't send it in the first place, they're saying no. And then, so what I will always do is maybe my initial reach out or invite is a text message or whatever, like a written out message. And then they respond back with whatever it is. I challenge you guys to get on your voice messages. It humanizes you. It makes them recognize that you are not just sending them some script from some training pamphlet that you have. Like, they hear you as a real human. They recognize that you're not being pushy. They hear the tone in your voice. Like, it's such a different experience doing that versus, like, again, stressing over the perfectly wording everything, right? And then say that they do want more information. You guys know what to do. We have like the FAQs, we have the Let's Talk Zayas, blah, blah, blah. But one thing I just want to like really instill in you guys, like, the more you do it, because I know it's scary and we're going to get to objections, the more you just do it and the less you think about it, the more you're going to grow. The confidence in yourself, the being able to let go of the answer is going to grow. And your confidence will grow. If you're not doing it, it's not going to grow. Okay. So it's really just by doing it and taking the action, even when it scares the crap out of you, that's where the growth is going to happen. Speaking to objections is something that I've definitely grown with over time, but I never would have grown had I not just at least started sending those messages and planting those seeds. So one piece of advice I will give. So I'm going to start with somebody that maybe says they're interested. Okay. And then we'll go to the ones that give you more objections. But one thing I would encourage is to do less talking and do more listening. There's like the PST thing, problem solution tool. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. So say somebody is interested in it. What I used to do is I would like word vomit. I would like, oh my gosh, they're interested. Let me tell them everything. I'm so excited. Don't do that. Cause it's just like, maybe you're going to say things they don't even know what you're talking about. It's just like overwhelming, but just like very calmly and coolly just say, hey, I'm so excited. Like, tell me a little bit more about what it is that you are looking for from Zaya. Because then they're going to tell you those things that they want. And those are the things you then can speak to. So say, like, for me, I'm a nurse, right? Like, maybe somebody would be like, I'm just like tired of like the 12-hour shifts. Like, nursing life is just crazy right now. And then I get back, I'm like, I hear you. Like, I understand that completely. Like, and then I share a little bit about my story, right? I share a little about my story, and let them know about this current moonshot incentive. Like, that's like the tools, right? Or I let them know about like our team systems and our new rep training. Just like, that's when you can kind of start talking to those things and sharing your own personal experience about how Zaya solved those problems for you, solved the problems of 12-hour shifts or whatever it is that it solved for you. And then, like I said, listen more, talk less, ask more questions. And then even after that, like, say that they've been like, they haven't really given you objections. I even now, like, I ask them like, okay, so if there was something like, what is it that scares you about Zaya? Like, I want to bring those objections up first so we can talk about them and normalize them from the get-go. So it's not something that surprises them on the back end. Like, they're going to be expecting it, and it's something that they're more ready to work through because you've asked them. And so asking that question, like, hey, I'm really excited. Like, I love how excited you are, but if there was something like, what is it that you feel nervous about? What is it that scares you? Something like that. Okay. And then we will end with some objections. But a few things let's go with objections. Are there's some objections that you guys feel like you get a lot that you want to talk to or talk about? Okay.
Megan, I get a lot of people that tell me like, oh, well, I just don't have the audience, or like, I'm not good on camera, like those sorts of things, like feeling like they don't have a following.
No. So I feel like with any objection, It's like the I hear you. And then you share an example and what I have found is. So for me personally, that objection, I started with like 5 pictures on my Instagram. So I would just get on a voice message. I always get on a voice message with objections because it's received better. They don't open their inbox to like a mile long message and then just get overwhelmed and run away. So I just like get on, like, I totally hear you. But what I will tell you is I started out with like 5 pictures and maybe 70 followers on my account. And we have systems in place and things in place to teach you how to grow and take advantage of the social media market to naturally grow your audience and your field of people that you connect with. So I just giving them that, I hear you, this is my experience, and these are the tools we have to fix your problem. But one thing that I've actually learned lately, because I was actually for maybe 4 months ago, I was in the I need a huge following drama for a minute, like going really real heavy. And I realized my business was actually slowing down when I did that. And that's where I come back to the fact that our warm market is not dead. Like it's alive a lot longer than you think. And you actually have a higher connection percentage when your following is small. So don't let your following be a reason that you are or will not be as successful. I don't even have 1,000 followers, you guys. Okay. So my Instagram was very new. After my first direct sales company, I built my Instagram to a good amount of following, whatever. But then my Instagram like randomly deleted. So I was literally starting from scratch, and that's okay. Anything else? I can talk through some that people share with me, but if you have any, just maybe you pay attention to the chat, Brittany, and you can tell me if there's some in the chat.
Yep. So I don't have time. That's one that's in the chat.
Okay. So I love that one because I personally had no time, right? So again, I just say, I hear you. But what I have actually found is that the busier people do better because they do not have time to waste on the fluff. And I don't know about you. I feel like everybody's busy. So I feel like anyone can share a relatable story to that. But I just let them know and be like, honestly, when I signed up in the hospital bed of baby number 4. Like I was already drowning. It seemed like the stupidest and worst timing to sign up as a rep. But we have such an incredible community, such an incredible resources to really get you zoned in and focused on the activities that matter, because your time matters. Your time is precious, your family matters. And so we have these systems in place so that even if you have 30 minutes of intentional work, your business can grow slowly over time. Obviously, if you spend more intentional time, your business will grow more quickly. But let's start and see what happens. There's nothing for you to lose. That's really what I learned in asking questions to Sarah, is like there really was nothing for me to lose. Maybe I just get a discount and I decide to quit. But I talk to the fact that honestly, busier people I have found do better because they know how to prioritize. They don't waste time on things that don't matter. And so when they're working their business, they are committed to working on the things that matter. And I can show you what those things are. Again, voice messages though. I know it feels awkward. It's so convenient. It's like the best thing ever. And it just, you can multitask way better when you do that. I will be sending these messages, honestly, you guys, when I'm doing dishes or when like a kid is like screaming in the background, like it's okay for them to hear the real life happening behind you because it's probably happening behind them too as they're listening. Any others in the chat, Britt?
So I have
go for it.
One. I talk on my stories a lot, and people will tell me like I can't talk on my stories like you, other than me saying like this has come with practice. Like I just do it. What do you recommend?
So, they don't have to do that right away, right? So giving them a way out, you could be like, you know what? I totally understand that I was terrified in the beginning. Let's not start there. Let's start somewhere else with things that you feel comfortable with. And then let's let that, that comfort grow your whatever, I can't think of the word. And then, we'll do your live and your party. We'll do other things to kind of build up that comfort level to get to that point. So making them not feel like they have to do that tomorrow. Like if they sign up today, they don't have to get on their story and start talking tomorrow. So I don't know. Does that help? Or is there other? Yeah. Okay. I just really feel like it always just comes down to acknowledging them, acknowledging their fear, normalizing their fear, letting them know that they're not alone in that fear. Honestly, a lot of times I say, you know what? It's actually a good thing that you have these fears. Like I appreciate, and I feel like when people have more fears, they're going to actually do better because you're seeing this business as a real business. You're seeing this business as a thing that's going to cause growth and make you feel uncomfortable. And I actually think it's a strength that you're already recognizing those things now. So I just like instill confidence whenever you can. Like, because that's a huge thing that we come to here for, right? Is that community that need to be acknowledged. Like moms are not acknowledged. And so just having a place and a space where your efforts and the things that you're doing are being recognized is huge. So take any opportunity you can to recognize them in your conversations back and forth.
Okay, Meg, another one I'm seeing is there are too many reps in my area.
Well, I'll just say that's bullshit. Just kidding. So we are such a baby company. So, and that's, I mean, really when I hear that, I'm like, do you know what though? The cool thing about social media and network marketing is that your immediate circle is not the people that you're going to be growing your business with. They may be who is initially supporting you, but if you can learn to leverage social media, which we will teach you and show you how step by step, your market is the world, you know? So just like, I mean, and sharing, like I know a lot of reps that didn't have a great launch party, but they're successful reps still. So it's not going to be your immediate circle that are going to be who you're growing with. Most of my reps I never met before I started my business. Most of my reps have come from parties and things like that. And so just letting them know, be like, no, I get that. Like my circle was this big when I started. I had those same fears. But you will find with social media and learning to leverage it that you don't have to be that annoying family member or cousin or next door neighbor that continues to hound, because you have a whole nother market you can tap into that's outside of your family. So who cares? Let's be every rep in Utah. There's like billions and billions of other people in this world.
Megan, what do you say to the people who say I can't sell like a pack of gum?
So ask me if they've ever recommended like a Target product. But really, so I hate sales, to be honest. I say that all the time. Now I have appreciation for it. Like I've learned that that's just like a thought. But like, I'll just give you one example really fast. When I was younger, my brother worked at Discover Card. He got some promo, if he got some referrals. Okay, so I got the job. I was actually decently good at it, but I hated it. So I worked for 3 months and quit on the day that he would still get his little bonus, but I didn't have to work there anymore. So what do you feel like you have to be salesy to do Zaya?
No, I don't. I don't.
So
I say this stuff sells itself. I just tell people how much I love it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you because I hear that all the time.
I hear them. Like, I get you. Like, I hated sales. I told myself all the time, but you will quickly find that sharing Zaya is about a lot more than just selling a pair of leggings.
Okay.
And then just ask them, like I said, like getting curious, right? Have you ever recommended something from Costco to someone or an Amazon product? Like, it's essentially the same thing. We share the things that we love, right? We just get weird about it when we benefit from it. So it's totally a thought thing that we have to grow over and get over. But it's like, why benefit the Target CEO when you could benefit like a family, you know?
Yeah. Good spin. I like it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Money
there's another
tight.
one about money being tight.
Okay.
So I can't buy the kit. I did a party for them and it flopped, which is worst case scenario because now it looks like it doesn't sell.
No, for sure. That is tricky. But so some things that you can do. So say their party flopped. You still do your follow-up, right? See if there's anyone in that party that would like to host. and then finding those answers for them and then talking to them about this. Like, I actually found these people that want to host, blah, blah, blah. But money is tight thing. Again, acknowledging them. Like, for me personally, when I began, my husband just lost over $30,000 on a real estate deal. That is why I was looking for something different to do, because that real estate deal that he did was supposed to be the thing that gave us a nest egg for me to go back to work PRN. But I just let them know, be like, hey, you know, I understand that, like, and I just acknowledge the fact that it's an investment, even though the bundle is a good deal, right? It's a good deal. You're getting a lot of stuff at a really great deal. But I always say, but I still understand that it's an investment. So my goal for my new reps is to earn that investment back and then some in the first 30 to 60 days. It happens all of the time. I know exactly how to show you how to do that. And then after that, it's like all profit from there, which is incredible, right? But with that certain individual, with that maybe their party flopped or whatever, just with any hostess, you talk to them about timing, right? Number two, though, I do feel like people hosting a party versus a launch party, people are going to want to be more supportive in you starting your own business versus just hosting a party for fun. So just talking to those, I mean, and in that situation, you could ask them, like, what are your fears about that? Like, you know, and get them talking a little bit more and then start talking to those things. But I will say, like, launch parties tend to do better because people are buying to support you. They don't necessarily care to get the product, but they're doing it because they want to support you in starting this business, right? And then they get the product and they fall in love. That's the amazing thing about our product, you guys, is you don't have to be consistent in using it to know its benefits. Like, you put your clothes on, you're like, oh my gosh, like, these are amazing. Which is why it's such a simple product too. You get it in their hands one time, then they want more. I don't feel like that was very clear, but was that helpful? I feel like that was all over the place. That is a tricky one. I think that's a tricky one where you got to keep on having that conversation with, speak to those fears, see if you can find some hostesses from the party, and then, you know, giving them those hostesses that be like, okay, well, look here though, we have 3 people that are wanting to host a party, you know, let's start there, type of thing, you know. So I don't know, speaking to, because there are, like, I have had many hostesses that, like, they have a $0 party and then 4 months later they have $1,000 party. So a lot of times it's just timing. So just talking to all those things with them, but that can be a tricky one. My daughter pooped. She really stinks. Whew.
Okay, someone asked, do you circle back to people who ghost you?
Yes. I was actually going to finish with some of those thoughts. Yes. So follow-up is huge, you guys. It is huge. So figure out what your system is, but anytime I send an invite or ask a question or anything like that, if it's been like, I usually wait like 2 or 3 days, and I will send a follow-up message. So say it's my initial invite and they said nothing. They read it, you saw it. Always assume positive intent. How often have you read a message, meant to respond, and you didn't respond? How often were you in the middle of, like, your child wiping poop on the wall? Like, whatever it is, there's always things in our life where Zaya's not, for them, right? It's not their number one priority right now. So they're not thinking, eating, breathing it like we are. So it's an accident. It's not an intentional ghosting most of the time. So what I will do, like, say 2 or 3 days later, say, ask them about the opportunity. They didn't say anything. Like, sorry, was that crazy and random? I promise I'm not a crazy person, maybe kind of. Like, I just make it funny, make it light. And then they usually are like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, no, I read it and I meant to respond and I didn't mean to. And then maybe at that point they'll tell me they're not interested or whatever. And then I can start speaking to their objections and start from there. And like, when they say I'm not interested, like, that's it. Like, just ask me, like, hey, and get on a voice message again. I'm like, I promise I'm not trying to be like annoying, but I would love to know, like, what is it that you're not interested in about it? Or what is it that makes you feel like you wouldn't be interested in this? Because I totally was the person that said I would never do this. So I'm just interested to see or know what it is for you, you know, just make them feel like you were interested in them and knowing. But yes, follow up always. I will always follow up. Even if it's like, we've started a conversation, we've gone back and forth, And then they stop talking or whatever. A lot of people that maybe are like, not right now, maybe later, what I tell them I'm going to do is I just say, no, I totally get that. How would you feel about me just like sending you the starter kit every time it updates? Every time it changes. Okay. They're like, yeah, sure. Like, that's totally fine. And then if you guys don't have the app yet from Zaya, use the app to send the starter kit, because you can see every time they open that starter kit, it sends you a notification. That is literally like the only thing I use from the app right now. But I haven't like really dove in, but I will always send the starter kit when I can from the app. Because like I said, it notifies you every time they view it. And so I'll send it to them every time it changes or whatever. And then maybe every 3 or 4 times I send it, like if they haven't said anything, I'll just say, hey, if you ever want me to stop sending these to you, just let me know. Like, I'm totally okay. I don't want to be bothering you or hounding you. Like, just kind of bring that elephant in the room that you are assuming they're thinking, and just bring it to light, like bring it up and be like, if you want me to ever stop, let me know and I will stop, no problem. And most of the time people are like, no, keep sending them, like it's just still not the right time, whatever, you know. Any other? Okay, all I gotta say, you guys, is you've got to get in the DMs. Okay, you've got to send the personal messages. You cannot post and pray. If you are spending all of your energy and time in crafting that perfect opportunity post and crafting those perfect graphics to share, that's not where you should spend more of your energy. There are many top leaders in this country that have really crappy social medias, but they have incredibly successful teams, and it's the messages, it's the personal conversations. The more conversations you have, the more connections you'll be making and the more recruits you will have, because those conversations in the DM is what brings them to your page. I like thinking, I don't remember who said this, but our pages and our stories and our wall, they're more of our billboard. And the way you get people to look at your billboard is to send them a message in the DMs and start connecting with them in the DMs. Even if it's not that you're inviting them to rep or host yet, but your connections, like when you're building new connections with your cold market or whatever, or even your warm market from people that are in your parties, like that's still kind of your cold market, right? Comment on their stories. That is a place where you are guaranteed to get into their inbox and you're guaranteed for them to see it, versus just sending them a message when you're not friends. It'll go to their message request box, blah, blah, blah. But make a goal, commit to yourself. Like, and if right now, one a day is all you can commit to that. Commit to one invite to rep, one invite to host every single day. In a week, that's going to be 5. In a month, that's going to be 25. Okay. And then eventually maybe you can do 3 a day, but commit to something and be consistent with it. And your team will come, like your recruits will come and follow up with those people. Like, even if they said no, I have re-asked so many people that have told me no. And it's because I have no longer cared about, and it's not that I'm gross about it. Like, I still am fun and very personable. I get on a voice message type of thing, you know, and I always give them a way out. But it's truly because I know this is a gift and I know how it could change their life. So it's like shifting that focus of what is this going to do for me versus what is this going to do for them, and showing it from that space and re-inviting and following up. That's really all I've got. If there's any questions you got, feel free to put them out there.
All right, any questions for Meghan? This is your chance.
Just do it, you guys. If you don't do it, someone else will. If you don't ask, someone else will. And there are going to be people that will watch for 2 years before they come around. But just keep showing up, keep doing the things. Print out those buckets that Sarah put on our website, and you will be rest assured you will touch every area of your business, and just do it. Stop thinking about it. Get out of your head.
All right, I think that's it. Meghan, my favorite thing from you was a one-liner. you're choosing the no by not inviting. I thought that was like really powerful. So you're basically assigning them a no. So you might as well give the invite, like she said. And then just remember the objection, like it's a cycle. Like they're going to give you one objection, you might resolve that, and then they might give you another one. And that's just part of the process. So just keep rolling with them, like she said, and just keep it real. And you will
be calm about it. Don't feel like you have to convince or change their mind. It's just you're sharing your experience and your thoughts and what you've learned.
right.
Because you had them too. You had
Yes.
all those objections and you're here today. So
Yeah. And I think that's powerful, letting them know like, oh, I remember that. That was hard. So powerful. Okay. Thank you guys for hopping on. Thank you so much, Megan, for sharing with us tonight. And we will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
bye.